Hey, it's me, Bad B. I'm back. I just got, well, okay, no, I didn't. Today I had a marathon hospital day. Originally, I had my oncology follow up 2 days ago, last Tuesday, with my new oncologist, but they suddenly called and asked to reschedule it to Thursday today. And I already had my plastics consult today at 10:45, and the only time they could get from my oncology appointment was 3:30. So it was just a huge gap, and they said that's all they had. About 10:30 this morning, I was going to get an Uber. Yeah, it must have been really busy, or there were no cars in the area. They had surge pricing. It was way more expensive than it usually is. And I got there late, which was annoying. But I called ahead to tell them that I'd be late, and they were like, it's fine, we're running behind anyway. So I got there at about 10:50. Then I finally saw my plastic surgeon at about 11:45, and she said, it looks really good. There's always going to be some slight difference because it depends on your natural fat amount in each area. And she pinched me here. But she said it looks really good, and I said I'm really afraid of capsular contracture, and she said, some people are just genetically predisposed to it, but it won't happen for ages. And I said, okay, is there anything I can do to prevent it? And she said no. She said it looked really good. I asked her when I could start running again, and she said, not from 6 weeks. So I guess I've got 2 to 3 weeks to go. Then I asked her when I could start doing weights again, and she said, yeah, about 6 to 8 weeks. And then I asked her when I could ride my motorbike, and she said, are you on the front or the back? And I said, I'm on the front. And she said, because it's quite heavy, you're going to have to steer it, not for 8 weeks. And I said, okay, that's fine. She added some little tape on there, and she said, we won't have to see you until the end of February or March. So my next appointment is on the 29th of Feb. Then I finished at about 10 to 12. Then because I had so much time to spare, I decided to walk to the local shopping centre, got some sushi for lunch. So one of my friends, when she came to visit me in hospital, she gave me this care package, and she also gave me a $40 sports girl voucher, so I got some cute pants. They were having some sort of sale on linen at the moment, so got an extra discount. Walked around the shops. By about 2:30ish, I was just pretty tired. I decided to just walk back to the hospital. It was about 3 at that time, and I thought, it's fine, I'll just sit down. But it was just boiling. I was just so uncomfortable. My appointment was for 3:30, and I saw the oncology registrar, so not even my onc, because she's sick. I saw him at about 3:45, and I don't know, I feel like he just wasn't knowledgeable. So I asked how much cancer was left in my breast when they did the surgery, and he said, you had such a good response to chemo, there was no cancer found in your lymph nodes. And I said, there was never cancer found in my lymph nodes. And he said, yeah, and they got good margins. And I said, yeah, I know that, but I know they found like a 4.5 centimeter or 45 millimeter tumor bed, but how come it was originally 2.1 centimeters in my initial diagnosis and it got bigger? I'll go back to your original mammograms. And I said also some other weird findings, like my Ki-67 went down to 5 to 10%, which is weird. He said that there was no viable cancer found. So I don't know if that means PCR because he didn't say it. Anyway, it was weird. And then so he said we had to start talking about endocrine therapy. So either maintenance drugs basically. And he said, what did your old oncologist say? And she had a couple of options. She said I could either do Zoladex and examestane, so a monthly Zoladex injection and daily examestane pills, or tamoxifen. And she said because of my age, it's better to do the Zoladex and examestane. And there's actually a 3 monthly Zoladex, but it's actually more effective to do the monthly one. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Even though I'm deathly afraid of needles, I'll do that. He said that he would get that organized for me. He got me a prescription for examestane. And even though you're supposed to get your Zoladex done at the GP, my GP is really far away. So he said he'd sorted at the chemo day unit for me, which is really nice. So I have my 4th Herceptin next week, and then they'll also do my Zoladex, and I'm terrified. So after my appointment, I finished at about 4ish. I decided to get an Uber home, and yeah, I don't know. The Uber was just weird. So like, obviously they don't tell you where you're going in the Uber app to stop cancellations. And the guy just kept texting me. He's like, where are you going? Where are you going? And I just ignored it because it's like, you either accept or decline the ride. I opened the door. As I'm getting in, he's like, where are you going? You didn't answer my call. You didn't answer my text, because he kept calling me. I said, I'm going about 5 minutes away. And he said, oh, because if it's far, I don't want to go. And I said, it's about 5 minutes away. And he's like, it's hot. And he didn't have the aircon on. The car was dirty. And then he's like, why are you here? You sick? And I was like, I have cancer. I was just not in the mood. And then he's like, oh, what stage? And I said, stage 2. And he said, where your cancer? And I said, breast cancer. And then he said, you're so young. And I said, yep. He said, do you have kids? And I said, no. And he said, oh, my daughter is training to be a doctor. And she said that Asians don't get it because it's just Australian women who get breast cancer and men who get prostate cancer, because the diet is really bad here and they eat so much meat. But Indians and Asians, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm Australian. I was born here. I grew up here. I wasn't going to go into why I got cancer. He's like, yeah, Indian people, we have a lot of turmeric and everything, and we don't eat pork because they eat rotten food, and we don't eat beef. We shouldn't eat red meat, and that's why we don't get cancer. And I was like, okay, if you want to beat this cancer, you have to eat a vegan diet and more turmeric. And I was like, all right, really don't need this. Even if he meant well, it's just like, I wasn't in the mood. I don't want to talk to you about my cancer. Like, oh. And he didn't even drop me off at my house. It was just a shitty ride. And then I got home, went to Chemist Warehouse, got my Examestane, and oh yeah, I have to take calcium and vitamin D because the Zoladex and Examestane can cause bone loss, osteopenia, because it's basically menopause. So I got that and started taking it today. I also started using a daily pill reminder counting app thingy. It's going well. Stay tuned, I guess, for my Zoladex and Herceptin next week. Yeah.